Good morning, everybody. Another edition of E to the Three coming at you. This is Sensei Jerry Valido with the Valido Martial Arts, and coming to you kind of in an impromptu manner today on a very somber morning, June 12th, 2016, hours after the largest mass shooting in American history has occurred. Prayers, condolences, positive intentions and well wishes go out to all the families and, more importantly, the victims of that horrific mass shooting that occurred earlier this morning in Orlando, Florida, at the Pulse nightclub. You know, as I was watching the news reports, several things popped into my head. You know, I was a frequent nightclub goer in my single days. Going out to dance salsa at any one of a number of venues here in the Los Angeles area, and I would go out 3 to 4 times a week sometimes, and I can't even begin to imagine the terror that these people must have felt. Especially it is a Saturday night, or it was a Saturday night. The nightclub was packed with people, loud music, and it basically, in a situation like that, you are basically crippled as far as your senses are concerned, because it's dark. You got strobe lights going off. You got loud music, and you're there to have fun. You're not expecting that some psychotic with a machine gun is going to come in and start shooting up the place. So as a martial artist who teaches people to defend themselves for a living, I got to thinking, how do our skills as martial artists come into play in these situations? Now, I'm not talking about physically engaging the attacker. I'm not talking about that at all. Obviously, if that is something that happens, that's like a last resort type of thing. Because I tell you what, if somebody's coming into a nightclub, I don't care, with carrying a machine gun and assault rifle, I don't care what degree black belt you are. Okay, you're an idiot if you don't run for cover. Even law enforcement runs for cover to get a better tactical position so they can draw their firearm. You're in a nightclub, unarmed, and they're having a good time, and you're not expecting to have to engage somebody with a machine gun. So I took a moment to kind of write down some ideas, and hopefully this will be something that you can keep in mind. And you don't have to be a martial artist to do these things, but it'll be something you keep in mind the next time you're in a public venue. And sorry to say, we just live in this kind of society today. This is the kind of world we live in now, where we have to be prepared. We cannot be complacent. I've said that for years. We cannot be complacent. Okay, so it comes down to three things. Very quickly, I'm sure I'll get more ideas on this subject, but right now, the three things that come to mind are awareness, tactics, and communication. Okay, let's start with awareness. So awareness is a very general, very broad term, but never be so in your head that you're not aware of the people around you, that you're not aware of your environment. I have a habit of, when somebody is in my immediate presence, in my, in my space, I will, if I have a funny feeling about a person, I will, kind of give them a once over. I look at their hands. I look at to see how they're standing. I look at to see, what their body movements are like, what their energy is like, where they're looking. I kind of just do that. So be aware of the people that are around you. Hands. Look at the hands. See what the hands are doing. And this is, anything from a sucker punch to carrying some kind of concealed weapon. Okay, awareness, awareness, awareness. That's just a broad term. Just don't be oblivious. Be aware. Okay. Secondly, if you are in a situation where you see something funky, something just it just doesn't seem right for that situation. If you see something, say something. That's the credo now that law enforcement has asked us to do, and it makes a whole lot of sense. Don't just be quiet. If you see something strange and it's not supposed to be the way it's appearing in front of your eyes at that moment, say something to somebody in authority. Say something. You could be saving lives. Okay, so now let's go to communication. Communication. Everybody has a cell phone. Make sure if you're going out somewhere to a public venue, let somebody know. Somebody. Call your buddy, call your mom, call your dad, call your sister, call your brother. Say, hey, I'm going out tonight. I'm going to head out to such and such a place. I'm going to be hanging out with so and so. So people know where you're at. Okay, because God forbid something happened to you and then nobody knows where you were and then they end up hearing about you on the news. That's not a good thing. Okay, now along the lines of communication, like I said a second ago, everybody has a cell phone. Make sure your phone is charged. Make sure you have a charger with you. Make sure that you know how to use the power saver on your phone to save the battery in case you're in a situation for a prolonged time. And make sure you know where your phone is at. It's in your pocket. It's in your purse. Don't leave your phone. In my opinion, your phone is attached to you. It's like an appendage. That phone could be the difference between you communicating with first responders and assistants and your families. That could be the difference between that and not being able to do any of that. Okay. Third, last but definitely not least, is tactics. Tactics. If there's one thing that I learned working as an employee for the LAPD for a couple of years, tactically based action is really important. So, when you enter a venue, when you're in a public place, whether it's outdoors or indoors, as best as you can, get to know the layout. Get to know the layout. And know your exits. Always know your exits. A fire door, exits onto a patio, exits out to the street, main entrances, back entrances, know your exits. Know the layout of the place. Know how to get from point A to point B to point C to point D. Know the staircases. Know where they are. Know where the fire escape routes are, if you can. I understand if you're out at a parade venue or you're out at a nightclub you've never been to before. Well, take a walk around the club. Check it out. Just know exits. Okay. Secondly, as you're checking out the place, know where there are defensive positions. You see a broom closet somewhere. Is there a DJ booth? Is there a pillar here or a pillar there? A bar. Okay. Know where there are defensive positions because you may need to use that to find cover. All right. And last but not least, really important because it may come down to this. But it gives you something of assistance should it come down to this. Weapons of opportunity. Know where there are weapons of opportunity. If you are in a nightclub, if you are at some kind of parade, you're not carrying around your weapon. You probably won't have a concealed weapon on you. If you're outdoors, maybe you'll have a blade on you. If you're in a nightclub, you're not going to have any of that. Especially if they frisk you when you go in or if they have metal detectors. There are some clubs here in LA that do. Okay, so weapons of opportunity. Okay, the bar. Okay, all kinds of glass. Okay, glass. I'm sure they have a couple blades back there to cut the lemons and the limes and stuff like that, and the orange wedges. Tables, chairs, bar stools. Okay, if you're outside, you know, anything that you can pick up, a rock, a trash can, wastebasket, whatever. You get the idea. Weapons of opportunity, just in case. Just in case you have to engage somebody for some reason, so that you can make it to safety. Okay. Last but not least, it's really important to understand in a mass shooting situation, it's pretty likely that you are not going to stop the shooter. Okay. In fact, that should not be your priority. It's not your job to do that. Your job is to survive. If you're with other people, your job is to survive, and your job is to get the people that you are with to safety and help them survive. Survival, survival, survival. If you are a martial artist, you have the skills. Should you have to throw down, should you have to do a last-ditch effort and defend yourself, of course, you go into action. But tactically thinking, anyway, I hope that this video gives you at least an ability to think a little differently as you venture out into the world today and in the days to come. It's a different world now. We live in a place where there are crazy people. There's always been crazy people, but now they're coming out of the woodwork, and it's just not safe out there anymore. So be safe. And as always, be empowered, be enlightened, be enabled, and God bless. E to the 3. Make it happen.